A 14-year-old boy leaves his home on a Sunday afternoon. He gets on his bike. He's going to meet his friends. There is nothing unusual about this moment. Everything starts normal. But within a short time, his route changes, his behavior changes, and then he disappears. Days later, he's found in a place that raises one clear question. How did a normal journey end like this? Let's go through this carefully. On June 21st, 2020, Noah leaves his home in South Belfast. According to confirmed reports, he planned to meet friends at Cave Hill. He had done similar journeys before, and there were no sign of distress before he left. CCTV captures him cycling through the city. At this stage, everything looks normal. He's riding steadily, following a route that matches his plan. Then something changes. Instead of continuing toward Cave Hill, Noah turns and begins moving in a different direction, toward North Belfast. This change is recorded on CCTV, but there is no clear reason for it. There is no confirmed phone call, no confirmed interaction, no confirmed event that explains the turn. From this point forward, the timeline becomes harder to follow. Shortly after this change in direction, Noah's bike is found abandoned and damaged in North Belfast. The exact sequence between the last confirmed footage of him cycling and the moment the bike is discovered is not fully captured. This creates the first critical gap. We know where he was. We know where the bike ended up. But we do not have a complete continuous record of how he got from one point to the other. Around the same time, witnesses report seeing a boy matching Noah's description in the same area. According to statements reported in the investigation, he was not on a bike and was described as being without clothes. These sightings are important because they indicate a sudden and unusual change in his condition. So now we have a sequence. He is cycling normally. He changes direction. His bike is later found abandoned. He is seen on foot in a very different state. At this stage, the timeline depends heavily on CCTV footage. Some cameras captured part of his movement, but there are gaps where no footage is available. These gaps occur at the exact moments where the most significant changes happened. We do not have a full visual record of when he left the bike, what happened immediately after, how he moved between key locations. This is not unusual in urban environments, but in this case, it means the most important transitions are not directly recorded. Several days later, Noah's body is discovered in a storm drain in North Belfast. The location is underground and not clearly visible from street level. Access to the drain requires entering a confined space. The official conclusion based on the inquest is that Noah entered the drain alone and died by drowning. The coroner stated there was no evidence of third-party involvement. This is the official finding. However, to understand the case fully, we need to look at how each step connects. Because even with the official conclusion, the sequence still requires explanation. First, the change in direction. A planned journey suddenly shifts course. There is no confirmed external trigger for this. That means either something happened that was not recorded, or the reason remains unknown. Second, the abandoned bike. For Noah to continue on foot, he had to leave the bike behind at some point. That moment is not fully captured. The damage to the bike suggests an accident, but the exact nature of that incident is not fully documented in public reports. Third, the witness sighting. This indicates that after leaving the bike, Noah's condition had changed significantly. The reports of him without clothes are consistent across multiple witness accounts, and they represent a clear shift from his earlier behavior. Fourth, the missing CCTV coverage. There are confirmed gaps in footage during the most important part of his movement. This does not mean anything unusual by itself, but it does mean that the transition between events cannot be fully reconstructed visually. Fifth, the final location. The storm drain is not a typical place someone would enter during a normal journey. According to the inquest, he entered alone, but the reason why remains unclear in the simple terms. There is also an additional detail discussed during the inquest. Days before the incident, Noah had experienced a minor head injury. Medical evidence was presented suggesting that this could have affected his behavior or caused disorientation. This provides a possible explanation for the sequence of events, but it needs to be tested logically against what we know. If disorientation occurred, it could explain the sudden change in direction, the unusual behavior observed by witnesses, the decision to enter an unfamiliar space. However, it still requires a continuous sequence of decisions that led from a normal bike ride to entering a storm drain. So we are left with two main interpretations. The official interpretation is that Noah became disoriented and entered the drain alone, leading to his death. This is supported by the absence of evidence pointing to another person and the medical discussion during the inquest. The alternative interpretation is not a specific accusation, but a question about the missing parts of the timeline. There are moments that are not fully recorded. There are transitions that are not clearly explained step by step. This does not prove another scenario, but it leaves uncertainty in how the events unfolded in detail. When we look at the full sequence, everything depends on connecting each step logically. A planned journey began. The route changes without a confirmed reason. The bike is abandoned at an unknown moment. Witnesses observe a major behavior change. CCTV does not cover key transitions. The final location is the confined underground space. Each step is supported by reports. The challenge is that the exact connection between them are not fully visible. So the real question is not just what happened. The real question is, do all these steps connect clearly enough to explain the entire sequence? Because in a case like this, clarity comes from continuity. And here, continuity exists, but only in parts. So now I'll ask you directly. Does the official explanation account for every step in the timeline? Or are there still moments in this sequence that are not fully explained? What do you think happened between the last clear footage and the final location? And is the answer already known or still hidden inside those missing connections? Thank you.